Hello, everybody. It is me, Pacific, and look at this. They spelled my shirt wrong, man. It says Pacific or Ocean Pacific. It's supposed to say Pacific Ocean. I'm telling you. Remember OP? Oh, yeah. Found this shirt at the thrift store, and I thought, the one and only Pacific Ocean Asia. Gotta buy it, Ocean Pacific. That was 80s, man. You don't see it much anymore. Okay. We're going to get rocking and rolling this evening on a Wednesday night. And I want to say something very power charged to a lot of American males because something really perturbed me today. Actually, can I be honest with my viewers? My butt gets chapped a lot in this society. I go along, mind my own business, try to do what is right, try to be respectful of traffic laws and people, and then you get out there and it's like, wow. Doesn't matter if you're nice. American society just goes like this to you. It does. It really does. So today I'm on my way home today. I'm in the left turn lane. Heavy traffic coming. I mean, a string of traffic. There's no spaces in between. And when there was, they're moving so fast I don't dare go. And believe me, there was no gap where it'd be safe for me to beat the band and get around. Well, the light, the crosswalk light's flashing. It's getting close to the light turning yellow. I'm halfway out in the intersection. Two cars come down and they go real slow as they're turning right. Well, I can't go. I don't know what it is about people today. They're so impatient. They won't even let somebody finish their turn. And they're making a left. And I thought, yep. And what's going to happen is that car behind that car turning, as soon as that back bumper clears his front bumper, he's going to punch it. Bam, you're going to be at fault because you just turned in front of an oncoming vehicle. But most Americans can't figure that out. So the two cars clear. I go, and just as I go to touch my accelerator, the guy in the big Dodge pickup behind me honks a horn. I'm sorry. I am still working on fleshing out my Christian walk, and I kindly gave him a mile-high salute out the window. Didn't even look. I thought, you know what, dude? Bite me. Guy bigger than me, this and that. I get home, I read the online news today, and that was in my truck, by the way, not the bus. Just saying. So I get home and I read the news that an American official, a U.S. official, referred to Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, called him chicken shite. I read on and I thought, doesn't that just make you proud to be a U.S. citizen? The lack of class dealing with a guy like Netanyahu, which, by the way, I support Benjamin Netanyahu. I feel that guy is up against a complete anti-Semitic wall of opposition to him, surrounded by Middle Eastern hostilities, surrounded by a media in the U.S. that always seems to favor the Palestinians and the Muslim Arabs and the terrorists. And Israel reacts after much restraint. And the American media says, look at this. Little children, Palestinian children are getting killed. And it's like, oh, come on. Then I always get the pundits on my channel. Do you know what Israel does? I said, yes, I know what Israel does. They show restraint. And they build settlements in the land that was rightfully given to them way back when by God and the UN in 1948. And the Palestinians are running around going, hey, you're building on our land. And the Jews are going, no, we're not. I think it's funny that the U.S. and other countries try to tell Israel what to do. But what I want to focus on today is not a big Jewish thing one way or the other. I support Netanyahu. I have no shame in that whatsoever. I think he's a dang good prime minister. And I'll tell you what. I think of one verse in the Bible. God told Abraham, I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. That is talking about the nation, the people of Israel. Doesn't mean that they do everything right. Doesn't mean that they're all God-fearing. But we as Christians have an obligation to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and we need to support Israel. It doesn't mean we stick our heads in the sand and say, oh, all the Jews are que sera, sera, and la la la. No, no. That the Jews have their problems like any other ethnicity and cultural group of people in the world is obvious. But there seems to be an inordinate amount of hatred directed at that tiny nation. And you and I that are Christians know exactly why that is. The Bible said it would be that way. When Satan gets dumped out of heaven, finally God says, you know what? You're not even allowed to come in my presence anymore. See ya. You are the weakest link. Whoosh, grease pole, straight to earth. And the devil goes to make war with the saints, and his wrath comes up because he knows his time is short. He will persecute the woman. It says that in Revelation. The woman is Israel. Read your Bible prophecy. I'm not going to break it down for you at this hour. But what perturbs me about American males, officials, guys in their pickups, guy in a pickup truck thinks he's tough because he's in a 4x4 pickup. And I sit there and go, are you serious? An American male typically thinks he's a tough guy because he can get in somebody's face and go, shut the F up, and talk tough and vulgar and raise his voice. And I sit there and go, is that really a tough man? Or is that an insecure as H-E doubles hockey sticks man blowing smoke? I have found that the loudest, most braggadocio, big mouth, profane-laced males are the ones that are chicken poo. Not Netanyahu. I love it when a U.S. official says this, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh, please tell me this is one of Obama's administration. If we really want to use a foul word, Obama doesn't strike me as much of a brave man at all. Calling Netanyahu chicken shite bothers me because it just makes me think back to all my life of growing up under the influence of American males, and this is why Pacific doesn't generally befriend American males. I have very few male friends from America on YouTube that I respect. They're not gay. They don't have gay tendencies. They're soft-spoken. They have testosterone. They get mad at things. But they don't feel the need to have a can of beer and scream at their favorite football game and run red lights in their pickup truck. The problem is most American males fall under stereotypes. If you're a sensitive male, you're called gay. If you like skating or you like the arts or play piano, you're called gay. If you have any feminine side or sensitive side or soft side to you, and I'm going to say something that's going to really be a fist in the face of these so-called macho American males. They are categorically insecure. I don't care if it's the businessman hiding behind the suit and the tie, the Audi, the Lexus, the Mercedes, the Beamer, cutting in and out of traffic, thinking, I got to worry about it. They're full of it. I have lived long enough to see that most American males are just as insecure as I am or anybody else. I'm going to really give a punch to this video. I find more American women tougher than most American males. Isn't that ironic? I know women that would stand up to the death for what they believe. I'm not endorsing the tough female, okay? I'm not. But it's pretty sad when women are becoming men and men wannabes, little boy wannabes, buying SUVs and pickups and driving like, can I use the word, a-holes. And then when you call them on the carpet for cutting you off and out comes the middle finger, F you, and they're screaming and you just look at them and go, you know what? One bullet to your head would shut you up real quick, tough little boy. Americans talk tough because we have the greatest military in the world and they think we're tough, tough, tough. I have had a problem all my life of ex-Marine Corps people. And I'm sorry if I'm stepping on toes here, but I'm going to say something about ex-Marine Corps people. They're idiots, most of them. They come back into the civilian world and they try to manage or run their job like they're running the barracks at boot camp. It's like, wait a minute. I served my country. I was in the Marines. I served my country too, and my taxes paid for your butt to be in the military, to come back and treat me like a jerk? Now, I want you to think about this, viewers. I'm going out and I'm taking the huevos, the testicles, the balls to say what I have wanted to say for years. I find Army guys usually pretty nice. I find Navy guys pretty nice. I find Air Force people pretty nice. But when it comes to the Marines, why are a lot of them idiots? You know, the little engine that could, the tough guy syndrome. I was in the Marines and I always talk like this. I shave my head and I'm bad. You're insecure as hell, bud. My tax dollars. I work and I vote and I work to pay taxes. I am serving my country, and so is everybody that's on my channel that's an American that's working and paying taxes and doing their part as an American citizen to uphold the Constitution. We're serving our country too. I'm sorry, there's a lot of flag waving and yellow ribbon and a lot of droopy-eyed tears about all the men going overseas, and don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm thankful for our servicemen, and I respect that they answer the call of duty and they go and fight for our freedom. But when the Marine Corps guys come back home and work at Betterville Aluminum or Durham School Services where I worked, and they make women cry that come into their office because they talk like this and shave their head and think they're tough. Going, okay, you were in the Marines, you're a manager at a bus company in Spokane, and you're making women cry and you talk tough and you got a big old pot gut now. It's years later. When are you going to stop playing Marine Corps, boys? When are you going to come back and integrate into life and be human again? When? We're not impressed. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with USMC on the back of these big jacked up pickup trucks and the whole tough image. And you can't even follow a freaking traffic law. Excuse me, but when you were in the military, you were disciplined to follow rules. You come back out in the civilian world and you lord it over us at your ex-Marine Corps and you can't even follow the traffic rules. Don't expect me to respect you, Padre. I hate it. I see it all the time. And I listened to a U.S. official call another official of another country who has shown restraint. And I'm going to say something. The liberal news in America is so biased against Israel, and I'm sick and tired of a bunch of nitwit gnats getting on my channel saying, Israel this, Israel that. It is baseless and it is bull. The crap that they tell me that the liberal media is controlled by the Jewish, it is not controlled by the Israelis in Israel. Let me make that crystal. There are Jewish people in America that are liberal and pro-democrat and have the strings of a lot of things. I am aware of that. When I am talking about Israel, I am talking about Israel. Israel does not own our media over here. A lot of ignorant, ill-informed, liberally owned, bought, and media-owned and bought Jews in America that are American citizens, their head is not thinking clear with God's Spirit. Okay, we know that. But that same American media always spins the news to make it look like the Palestinians are the poor victims. Bull pucky. Yasser Arafat got a Nobel Peace Prize? Really? All you need to do is read about him. But let's go on. Let's not get caught in the muck here. Let's talk about males in America and their tough talk. He's chicken. You know what? I got a problem with that. That U.S. official's not running any country, is he? Have you ever noticed at a football game, a bunch of big men sitting in their chairs thinking they're all tough? Yeah, we want some Broncos, man. And then they're screaming at Manning or screaming at their player, whatever team you're in, and they're yelling and screaming, oh, come on, man, look at you, you missed that. Wow, you threw the ball away. And you know what? And we've all done it. But you want perspective? You're not out there playing the game, homie. You're sitting in your chair with your remote control and your popcorn and your beer cans and your beverages, yelling at a TV. You're not out there playing. You're not going to be out there playing because you couldn't do it. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. And you want to know what else? I love it when an official mouths off about a very respected official of a country that is hemmed in on all sides by hateful, bloodthirsty enemies. Yes, Israel is surrounded by a sea of enemies. And for some smart aleck, uncouth, uneducated, he may have college degrees, but uneducated fool U.S. official can loft that out into the air. It makes me sick. It's like me. I'm not a threat to anybody. I try to obey the traffic laws. I try to be conscientious of people in front of me and in back of me. That's why I use my turn signals. That's why I go the speed limit. I watch American males use their vehicles as a bully billy club. Roar up on my bumper, glare at me in the mirror, and I'm thinking, wow, you're so tough. Why don't you get out of that car? Run up behind my bumper real fast and glare at me. Do that. They won't. They feel big in their SUV that's plastic lined and thin metal clad. I see this stuff every day and I get sick of it. Most American males not only are not well adjusted, they're dangerous and they're scary. One, because they think they're more than they are, think that they're tougher than they are. I want to share with you a story. I'm not grandstanding, but it hit me. I was sitting in the break room. The dispatcher called me from behind her desk and said, Mike, come here. She goes, one of our employees is going to be late for work, and she got a flat tire out there on the road. Is there any chance you go and help her? No, this isn't on the clock time or anything. I said, well, where is she? She goes, here, she's on the phone. And I called her and I said, hey, where are you at? She told me. And I said, all right, I'm going to let you talk to dispatch. I'm on my way. I had a jack. I had a lug wrench in my truck. Never used it. Bought it in 2005 when I was moving to Minnesota due to an inheritance. And my old 81 Chevy truck, I thought I better get a jack and a lug wrench in case I need to change the tire on the road. And today was the first time I used it. Come up to her little Ford Tempo, and the hardest thing for me today, you want to know what the hardest thing for me today? I had one of those mechanic jacks. Not one of those stupid scissors jacks, not one of those freestanding, but you know, the one on the wheels that you lift up and it goes up like this and you turn the thing and the mechanic's jack. Good stuff. I think it's, I forgot what it is, 5 ton, 10 ton, I don't know what it was. It's a good jack. It's heavy, heavy, heavy. It's got the 4 wheels on it. I get under that car. I'm like, sheesh. Everything's metal under here, but there's no bracing or anything. Where do I put this that it isn't going to punch through? Finally found a spot on the corner. Start jacking it up. The front of the car starts to swing and the jack starts to lean because I'm on asphalt, I'm like, oh, this sucks. So finally let it down, put the jack, reposition it, put the 2 wheels of the jack in a groove between the gutter and the pavement of the street. I'm like, that ought to hold it. Got it jacked up, popped the tire off, put the other one on. And I said, man, you wore this down to the steel strands in the tire. She says, the other one's like that. My boyfriend and my son have been driving this around. I said, I'm going to tell you, and you go home and tell them, do not get on the freeway with this car. Don't go anywhere over 30 miles an hour because you get up there at 55, 65 on the freeway and you pop that front tire, you could be in a rollover. Don't do it. She was so thankful, offered to pay. I said, you don't pay me for that. Got back to work. Another guy, because several buses actually went by and they honked and waved. Several of our employees saw that I was helping her. I come into the bathroom and one of the Hispanic guys says, thanks so much for helping her, man. I said, no problem. He says, no, I mean it. He says, I can't believe you went and did that. I said, why? He says, well, you know how everybody is in here. They hang out with their own group. And I said, dude, I see that big time. I said, somebody asked for help. I'm there. I said, she's not white. Forget it. What does this have to do with everything? It has to do with our whole society is dysfunctional, folks. Men are no exception. We can yell and scream at a TV. We can yell and scream about some world leader over there. Somebody might say, well, you yell and scream about Obama. I do, because I'm watching what he's doing, and I have a right. I didn't vote that guy in. And people say, well, you're not in the office. Give me the office of presidency. I'd be willing to do it. You think I'm joking? I know I'd never get voted. I know they'd get me out of there so fast they'd pull up the skeletons and dangle them all before the liberal news networks and fry me. But I would run for president if I could. If I knew I had a snowball's chance and you know where, I'd go for it. Not because I'm qualified, but because I think, my gosh, I'd get some advisors around me and I'd get a good team behind me and I'd say, this isn't about me. This is about us. Let's rock this country. I'm not going to tell you what I would do if I was president. But all these little special interest groups and these eco-terrorists, I'd shut them down so fast it wouldn't even be funny. I tell people, yeah, we're going to be responsible. We're going to stop clear cutting and stripping everything up. But the one thing I'd come after is corporate America and say, we're done with this. The corporate greedy Nazis run by American, predominantly white males are ruining this country by their greed. Let me read you this. All these companies people have been screwed over by, let me read you some. I will take a minute to find it, so please bear with me. Let's see if I can find it. James 5. This is for all them greedy corporations raping us. That also goes for the oil corporations in this country. Don't forget that. James chapter 5, verse 1. Come now, you rich, weep and howl for your miseries which are coming upon you. Your riches have rotted, and your garments have become moth-eaten. Your gold and your silver have rusted, and their rust will be a witness against you, and will consume your flesh like fire. It is in the last days that you have stored up your treasure. Folks, we're talking right now. We're in the last days. And I've noticed in the last so many decades that the greed collectively in this country, these big mega corporations, Dayton Hudson, Walmart, Enron, Exxon, Mobil, Shell. I mean, we could go on and on and on. Raping us, gouging us while stiffing the people that supply the products, sending all our labor force, firing everybody in America and going overseas and hiring the Chinese for $2, $3 a day or an hour or whatever. And you know who's driving that engine? A bunch of self-centered Americans. We want our stuff. If I was president, I'd shut it down. I'd say, any company that is manufacturing our products overseas, it started out as made in America, I'm going to put such huge taxes on you that you won't even want to send it back to our shores. And you tell me who's going to buy that crap across the ocean? Nobody. You come back to the U.S., you open up a factory, I won't charge you taxes. Provided you pay your workers fair wages, provided you give them health care, give them vacations with pay, and you don't make them submit to you like work is their God. If you don't want to play by the rules, I'll tax the stuff out of you. Taxes will come from the workers. If the corporations are making hefty profits and everything will be laid out, then we're going to get you. If the executive is living in mansions, we're going to stiffen you good. There would be just a teeny bit of what I would call, I hate the word socialism, but a little more equality. This gouging, runaway capitalism, Pacific doesn't agree with it. Is it right for me? Say my channel made $20 million a year. Is that even right? No. I already know that if I got $1 to $2 million, I'd shut down. I mean, whatever company I have, I'd sell it. I'd go. Verse 4, James chapter 5. Behold, the pay of the laborers who mowed your fields and which have been withheld by you cries out against you, and the outcry of those who did the harvesting has reached the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. You have lived luxuriously on the earth, led a life of wanton pleasure. You have fattened your hearts in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and put to death the righteous man. He does not resist you. By the way, I could also insert Joyce Myers, Joel Osteen, and a whole bunch of televangelists into that. Now they haven't killed people, but they've lived in luxury. Joyce Myers isn't paying my paycheck, but she's sure helping herself to hers. When I hear an American man, an official, stand up and use such language towards Netanyahu, I got a problem with that. I have every right to have a problem with that. That's wrong. The civic stance is that the U.S., we got some big problems going on out there. Big problems. And it is the U.S. that has told Israel, don't do it, don't react. Calling Netanyahu chicken, while past administrations have told Israel, don't react, don't react, don't react. And meanwhile, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Haifa, all the different places that get rocked with suicide bombers and shopping malls and buses and this and that. And we tell Israel, don't do anything. Oh, wait a minute. But we're calling the leader chicken. Okay. Netanyahu is in a precarious position because if he does anything too radical, he knows he'll have world condemnation all over him, riding on his shoulders. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be so bold to say Israel is one of the most tension-ridden countries out there. Oh, come on, Pacific. What about Syria? You know what? Syria, these other countries, they all brought that on themselves. Islamic belief, slay everybody that doesn't convert to Allah, and then war against each other. Come on, man. But Israel sits in a dangerous position all the time. They're not out there starting wars. They're not out there promoting a belief system that slaughters people. Islam does. I can't run on political correctness. I just can't do it. I get tired of a bunch of little baby boys that are balding and pot-gutted or tattooed or driving in their Dodge Hoopty and thinking they're all that in a bag of chips. And I go, yeah, the American male. His prowess is wrapped up that he's got a hot-looking white woman that he banged and got pregnant. His prowess is wrapped up in his ride and that he's got control, the remote control, and because he can yell vulgarity at somebody and say, I'll kick the SHIT. You know what, dude? Shut up. Shut up. We're tired of hearing it. I have actually found that the people that make the loudest noise in the male camp are full of cheese. I have found that with my small size, I turn around and said, you know what? You can yell all that garbage at me all you want and punch me in the face, but you still ain't going to shut me up, partner, so why don't you stuff it? You hit me, I'll have your butt in jail so fast, and I'll own you. Most men are nothing but a bunch of talk, and if they do something, they're going to do it when you're not looking. It's ridiculous. There's good American males out there, but they get buried in the avalanche of sheer fools. And I don't respect a U.S. official saying what he said about Netanyahu. I got a problem with that. And yes, There is some censorship that goes on my channel. I am not going to listen to or entertain these so-called anti-Israeli sentiment people. I won't do it. I won't do it. Well, you're being biased. No, I'm not being biased. I've heard their stuff for years, and I watch what they do and facilitate. Does anybody know? Does anybody even know what happened when the whole Palestinian thing was going on? Their leaders made them a political football. They put them right up against the Israeli border, and then they send their military to pot shot and cheap shots at Israel, and this goes on, and this goes on, and then Israel finally says, you know what? We're tired of this. And Israel reacts, and they give a measured response, not a blitzkrieg, but a measured response. Some child gets killed because the brave Palestinians that they think they are put their children, the old ladies, and they go hide in the middle of a nursing home, and they know what they're doing. They know that the power of the media can help them to win. And it works. If you hear a lie long enough, you start to believe it. In the news today, Israel fired shots over into the Palestinian regions and killed a bunch of children. What they don't tell you is what precipitated all of that. It's in what they don't tell. When are people in America going to learn that are anti-Israeli, and then I hear them denying the Holocaust? Wow. But I'm getting off on a rabbit trail. My point is, there is so much ignorance in this country. Yasser Arafat was no peaceful man. Yasser Arafat was downright wicked. Yasser Arafat used his own people as a political football to garner support for himself and his people and think, wow, look at what the Jews are doing to us. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. When Madeleine Albright and people under Bill Clinton and liberal that they were always cozying up to him. Give me a break. So when a man mouths off and calls another man in a country who I have respect for chicken shite, I don't respect that. I'd like to call that man out and say, all right, buddy, let's see you run a country. But not America. You go down in the Middle East and you deal with the enemies they got, and let's see you pull it off, big guy. I'm going to say something bold. A lot of American males are loudmouth, bellicose, obnoxious, and profane to the core, including our Marine Corps guys. And they like us to think that they're tough. And women that are just immature and silly, ooh, he's so manly, because he can say the F word in somebody's face and shout at them. Can he love you? Can he treat you like a lady? Or is he living off the fumes of his self-important stuffed ego because I was a Marine Corps? Sorry to take shots at the USMC, but they've had it coming for a long time. I serve my country too, and I see you guys with the bumper stickers, and you're also the ones that cut me off with no turn signals. Where's your respect for the laws of this land? You walk around and you wear it on your sleeve that you were in the Marine Corps and you were in strict training, but then you come back here and you drive like a devil. Why is that? I see American macho firefighters with their firefighter license plate, their firefighter sticker. Speed limits mean nothing, turn signals need nothing. But they got their tinted window jacked up 4x4 pickup and they think they're such a man. Yeah, America's heroes. Give me a break. Gone are the days when people respect the righteous man. Gone are the days when people respect a real man. Job was a man. Moses was a man. Elijah was a man. Elisha was a man. David was a man after God's own heart. And we hold up wreckage in our media. So what that you fought in the Marine Corps? So what? I fight the battle of life every day, and I find that my biggest enemies are not those outside the walls of this country, but right here. Yeah. Oh, Islam is a danger. There's no doubt about it. And then there's people out there that hate us Americans. But you know what? We've got some of that coming, folks. We haven't always done everything right. We didn't do right to the Native Americans. We didn't. But it's all snowballing. The whites are blamed for everything, and I don't agree with that. But we screwed up. Most American males aren't tough. They're scary, but they're not tough. That's all a veneer. It's all a smoke screen. It is. Wow, you can punch somebody in the face. That makes you such a man. You can rev your diesel engine and blow a big wad of black smoke out the butt end of your pickup and run red lights and cut people off, and you're macho. No, you're a little boy that never grew up. They can't follow traffic laws. They can't respect others. They can't control yourself. Oh. What does it say in the Bible? A man who controls himself is greater than one who guards, or is more powerful than one who guards a city. Think about that. Oh, I've got a lot of working to do on that myself. There's a man that he gets his bus ready in the morning next to mine, and he's an older man. He's got to be close to 70s. I think he is in his 70s. He's kind. He's Christian conviction. He's always pleasant to everybody. He doesn't talk in a voice like this. His voice is soft-spoken. He's more of a man than these loudmouth punks that come out of the Marine Corps and think they're all that. He's more of a man than the guy in his pickup laying on the horn of me. Really? Really? Just as much as I criticize American women, it's time to level a heaping shovelful of criticism on American males. They grew up on too much John Wayne and Robert Redford and thought, oh, I'm going to be like him. Save it. They get together with other men, they drink, they talk tough, and it makes them feel so manly. Get those big tough men to get down on their knees and pray and confess their sins and say, you know, God, I'm very insecure and I'm hiding behind my truck because I'm insecure. I'm hiding behind my tough talk because I'm afraid. I'm a little boy inside and I'm terrified. That's why they drink and get drunk, because they can't deal with life. Don't be fooled. Any man that gets deeply in debt to buy that big of a pickup, to make that much noise, to drive that way, is insecure as hell. Trust me. My cousin in Washington said, these guys that buy these big pickup trucks and drive like that, they're overcompensating for the penis that they don't have or the small size. I'm sorry, I think that's funny. But if you go tell those men that, they're just going to explode and show how tough they are by cussing, and you want to, yeah, whatever, dude. Let me hand you a binky and a baby rattle, and maybe you need a diaper change. I don't think I'm tough. I know I'm not tough. But I sure as heck know that those guys aren't either. Scary, spooky, out of control, childish, immature, unpredictable, you betcha. But manly? the definition of a man as God defines that. I hate to tell you this, man. Just because you go to football games, drink beer, and drive your pickups like a-holes doesn't mean you're a warrior. Nope. Means you're an idiot. Means you're insecure. Means you got a problem somewhere. And I'm really going to level it here. The whole biker thing, you know, the hairy armpits showing and all the leather on. Okay, now don't get me wrong. I have no problem. We have guys that I work with. I respect them. They ride motorcycles. They don't have that tough man image. But the Hells Angels, these Harley guys, the Dirty Dozen, the bikers with their overweight chicks on the back and all thinking they're tough. Let me tell you why they get into that group. Let me quote to you one of their own, okay? There's a guy I worked with at the bus company in Spokane. And very nice guy. He said, I have a bike. I said, you do? He said, yeah. He says, I was part of a club for a while. And he says, do you know why I joined it? He said, because I was always picked on. And when I was with that group, put on the leathers and rode with those guys, I felt a surge of power because I had all them around me and we were intimidating. Bingo! You see, a lot of bikers are going to get on my channel and go, that's bull, Pacific. No, it isn't. I understand people like their motorcycles. I'm not talking about that. But that old bad boy image, there's power in that. They know that when they're with a group, they scare people. They know it. Let me tell you something. I'll be honest. If I had a full regimen surrounding me, protecting me with machine guns and the whole works, I'd love to drive my school bus and have a whole bunch of Hummers complete with the guns on top and the whole thing surrounding my bus, making a statement. You screw with this guy, we're going to blow you out of the water. Who wouldn't want that around them? Aren't we all scared inside? Don't we all wish we had that kind of protection? America's backing us into a corner of fear, too. And the men aren't standing up and being men. The men aren't standing up on YouTube and saying they're tired of this feminism and tired of this liberal. No, they're running around buying their pickups and thinking they're tough and talking tough and foul language and all that. You know what? And they're not changing America for the better at all. They're not being men. They're not being leaders. And then they mouth off about a leader overseas. And I'm going, really? Now, I understand there's people in the inside parts of America that are real men that are serving our country. They're quiet about it. They're aware of the dangers. They're monitoring things. I understand that. Because we have immature people that get on my channel and go, not everybody's like this. Hey, I know I said that. If you'd listen to the whole video, you'd hear that. But you listen to 5 minutes of it and go off with your stupid little troll comments, okay? But the thing is, some of the friends I've had have been in the Army. I don't know why, but the Army men are kind of humble. So are the Navy guys. You get in the Air Force, you get a little more arrogance. But you get in the Marine Corps, it is over the top. I got to be honest with you. I've met a lot of people that have dated and or been married to Marine Corps guys. Not a real healthy relationship there. Those men are so damn insecure and so caught up in their tough testosteronic thing that the woman ends up running out of there in fear or is abused. Yep, that's right. Ex-Marine Corps guys beat the crap out of their wives. A lot of them. Start digging around, start doing your research. I'm not pulling that out of my butt. I respect Benjamin Netanyahu for what he has to deal with. I'd say he's a man. I'd say he's much more of a man than these mouthy punk ASS men that I see all day long driving around in their pickups thinking they're so freaking tough. It's like you're an idiot. You're not doing a dang thing. You're not serving in the military. You're not playing the football game. You're not out there doing anything but going to work, cluttering up our roads, driving like an idiot, showing disrespect to me and everybody else and the traffic laws. And then you got a USMC sticker on your back end. Okay. Or you didn't serve in the military and you think that you're just so cool. I'm not impressed, dude. I'm sick of it. I wish the next disaster that would come to this country would wipe out all of those people and take them away. I wouldn't miss them at all. I'm serious. Isn't it too bad that disasters don't just come and kind of ethnically cleanse out the bad junk? When I say ethnic, I'm not talking about a race, but how about a cultural group of bad blood? Bad blood, and that can come in the form of any ethnicity. Yes, I wish. Tsunami hits Indonesia, and I'm sorry, it isn't selective. It's non-discriminatory. The righteous and the unrighteous, the rich and the poor, everybody got sucked out in that. What I can say to the arrogant American male, God has a final word, not you. You're not going to go to God with your Marine Corps status, your fireman status, your football playing status, your tough talking, wife beating status, whatever you're hanging on. There's one verse for you. God resisteth the proud. That word resisteth means stands against. And that goes for women too, but we're focusing on men today because I've said a lot about women and I need to start blasting the problems with American men. And I can understand that there's some legitimate females out there that have turned lesbian, that have gotten so hurt and so abused and so deeply scarred by so many of these dirtbag American males that I do understand their angst, their defensiveness, their drawbridge rigidly up. A lot of American males have screwed over a lot of American women. And people like me and people like many of my viewers are finding that we are passed over and ignored by a lot of women who have been deeply burned by fathers and uncles and cousins that molested and beat them and were abusive to them and put them down and made them feel like a piece of garbage. We cannot ignore that. My channel cannot just be solely feministic anti-only. We need to deal with the sins in the camp of the American male. Why is it that most men have turned women into tough guys instead of ravishing their woman and making her and encouraging her to be a lady? Why? Men want women to listen to their junky music and smoke a bowl and smoke cigarette and drink beer and cuss. Why do men want to do that to women? They've ruined them. Why do you want to turn women into bar chick whores? Because American men are effed up. That's why. They hide behind Harleys. They hide behind pickups. They hide behind beer cans and sports. They hide behind corporate suits and ties. They have no control of their own inner self. So they're going to go out there and mess with others. I've got my finger on the pulse of a lot of American males, and I don't like them. I don't want to befriend guys like that. I have no interest. I don't respect American men that get drunk and have that cocky, got all hot women on their side. Why would you want to turn women into a bunch of drinking fools like you to go and get laid and knocked up, and you just use them and throw them back out there? And you turn all these women into jaded, callous, jaundiced, uncaring, just wreckage. You know, it's time that I have some women who can start applauding what I say. Because you know what? Some of my viewers that watch are women that have been deeply hurt and cut by men right here in good old USA. A lot of American men have no problem playing the sexual prowess, macho, tattooed, oh, I'll be your lover. And you screw that woman, you get her pregnant, and you're nowhere to be found. And another kid raised without a dad who grows up screwed up. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to close with this because it's getting late for me on a work night. Pacific is, I see the value of a mother and father. I see that boys growing up with just their mother just get ruined. Part of it is because women are damaged. Part of it is because of divorce. Part of it is my own experiences, my own circumstances. But kids need their father. And before anybody starts pointing and saying, hey, you have a son, we're not going to get into stuff. There's things that you will not know about and things you don't need to know about because they're too personal. There are times, there are exceptions, when because of the nature of situations, and remember what happened last summer, restraining order, and I had to pay $1,500 to get an attorney to get that out of there. I don't want any more of those. I don't want one at all. By the way, for those of you who don't know, that restraining order was dismissed. Didn't stick. Thank God. I'm not going to go over to that house and get another one of those. The woman's a loose cannon with my son and with me. And after great counsel from many people, both family members, Christians and non-Christians, they said, stay away. Your son's old enough. He can walk to you. He's close enough. He's a half a mile from me. He can walk or ride his bike, skateboard, whatever. No. She has effectively toxified him against me. There are times when you have to walk away and say, Lord, please, deal with this. It takes a man, and I'm not there yet, it takes a man to get on his knees and say, I can't do anything about this stuff, and it angers me because I hate not being in control just as much as any other male. But it takes guts to get on your face and say, God, there's nothing I can do. I have to submit to your sovereignty, and it bothers me because I'm the kind of a person that wants to get in there and do something. I want to fight. I want to stop the problem. That's the way I'm hardwired. But it takes more guts to get on your face and say, Lord God, I can't do anything about this. In my flesh, I would make things worse. You got to do this. You got to take care of it in His time. No, American males are a mess. A major mess. Feminism came out and started because men were not doing what they were supposed to do to begin with. Oppressing women, treating them as property, screwing around on them, breaking their hearts. Along came the 20s and the 30s, and women finally started saying, enough. Feminism has gone too far. Women would have never demanded the right to vote, never demanded the right to lead if men had been what they should have been in the beginning. Now the whole thing's a mess. America is not working anymore. It is not working anymore. Let me make that crystal clear. God is allowing things to be kept at bay because of our presence in our military, but America is not working anymore. When we sin and we do things the way God doesn't want us to, we reap the consequences, and boy, are we reaping them. I sat down and talked with one of the queen bees today because I don't know what's been happening, but she's been being nicer, and I've been very suspicious of that. she's been making an effort to engage with me in a kind way, so I thought, okay. I told her some things about my past and some of the things I went through. And believe it or not, that woman said, "You're really?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, man." I said, "Yeah, I've felt rejection all my life." And the reason I said it is I have a method to my madness. So let her know, you may be hard and you may be tough talking, but you're not realizing that all of us in this room come from something. And I looked her right in the eye and I said, the truth is, we're all broken people. She said very quietly, she goes, "I agree with you. That's true." It takes guts in this culture to try to deal with these nasty women and try to get humble enough and honest and transparent enough to get to the heart of their problem. And then to try to love them as God loves us. We all love God to love us. We all want him to love us, but do we in turn love those nasty people? I don't. That guy honking at me, it's like, kiss my butt, Dodge doofus. What are you going to do? Get out and hit me? Sheesh. It's all BS out there. United my butt. No, we're not. We're united in sinning. Oh, gosh, yes. But there's no unity in this country. It's every man for himself. I'm going to make as much as I want. I'm going to spend my money any way I want. I'm going to do what I want and get out of my way. Oh, and by the way, you're chicken. Really? Okay, Mr. Big Guy, why don't you get over there and run a country? Being surrounded by Islamic states that hate your flaming guts. Let's see how tough you are. You go over there and start poking at those guys. Maybe Netanyahu uses restraint because he knows he doesn't want to create a major confrontation that could have dire consequences. No, Netanyahu's right, walking a tightrope that I wouldn't want to walk at all. Because I'm going to tell you something. If I was in charge of Israel, I would have had my backbone up against the wall so many times, I would have started dropping A-bombs on every one of those countries around her. Said, you know what? I'm going to finish this problem once and for all. That's what I would have done. And I would have erupted a major, major volcano doing that. No, Netanyahu's using restraint and wisdom. Something a lot of American men don't have. American men can't even go the speed limit. Restraint, self-control, don't think so. Wisdom, going 80, cutting people off. What if you slip up and you hit somebody and you kill somebody? Oh, you'll be in the courts for a while, big guy. They're stupid. But that's American males for you. We can just mouth off about anything like we're experts. Yeah, you're experts, all right. That's why all our industry went overseas. That's why our politics is corrupt. That's why American women are so hard and jaundiced. That's why you're drowning in porn and alcohol in your truck and your SUV payments and your stupidity. Yeah, you're good. You go, boy. I think it's time for me to say this. I gotta go. We wrap this up in just under an hour. I know some tough guys. They don't act like these dirtballs I'm talking about. This is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.